I very much appreciate that. The website that I submitted the poem to is PenIt. I will have their website in the description below for anyone who would like to check that out. So that was the second time that it was mentioned. It wasn't really published though. So the third time it was shared, second time it was published, is Universal Oneness from AuthorsPress, a publishing company based out in India. So, editor, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because I'm going to butcher it. He sent out an open call for everyone to send their magnum opus poem. He said he was expecting reprints because of this being a magnum opus collection. So, I'm looking through my stuff, and I'd already narrowed it down to 2 poems. Once again, Flawed Masterpiece or Homecoming. Well, there was a word count limit, and Flawed Masterpiece is a lengthy poem. If you don't know the Paradox Complex, it's 2 pages in that book. Homecoming is not even a full page. So I submitted Homecoming because it was a shorter poem and it fit the line limit. Because the spaces between stanzas, for anyone who's never submitted to a poetry contest, the lines between stanzas also count as lines for many of these contests. So to avoid trying to push any issues, I submitted Homecoming. So I got an email at the end of 2018 informing me I had been accepted, which was amazing because, again, this collection is the magnum opus collection of poetry. It's 360 authors from multiple countries across the world. So for me to be in this book, yeah, this is a very thick book. It's about 500 pages. So 360 poems by 360 poets from 60 countries. Magnum opus poems from around the world. And I'm one of 360 in this book. For me, being in this book itself was an achievement for me. So I will have the link in the description below for Universal Oneness, as well as the AuthorsPress website. Now, I do want to let everyone know that's living in America, this book is not cheap. So, warning you now before you go on there, because a lot of people that follow me know that I usually keep my books at a cheaper price. This one's not. But this was the 3rd time Homecoming got mentioned, 2nd time it got published. Also, because I just realized it, I didn't mention Universal Oneness was published in January of 2019. So the 4th time that Homecoming was mentioned and the 3rd time it got published. Organic Ink Volume 1 from Dragon Soul Press. So this book features 50 authors. All of us have varying amounts of poetry. In my case, I had 5 poems and 10 haiku. So someone had asked Jade, the compiler for this anthology, if reprints were allowed, because a couple of us had forgotten that the deadline was coming up, and there were several people that wanted to submit, especially given that a lot of us were asking if there were chances of a poetry collection being released from Dragon Soul Press. So we were informed that we could indeed do reprints. So given what the rights issues were regarding Universal Oneness, that meant that I was allowed to submit Homecoming. So I submitted 5 of my poems. I submitted 10 haiku. The haiku are all previously unreleased. The poems, there were 2 that had been previously published and 3 that were previously unreleased. And one of the 5 poems I put in there was Homecoming. So this was the 3rd time it got published in a book. Overall, it's the 4th time it's been featured somewhere. I will not be putting a link in the description below because this is one of the anthologies I'm in where once the rights reverted back to the authors, the book was taken out of print. You might be able to find a copy on Amazon, you might not. I'm not going to make promises. I'm not going to tell you to go and search for it. And my other poems that are in here will be getting released in a future book of mine. So don't go looking for it just for the sake of that, because I do have plans to re-release those poems. So the book went out of print in June of 2020, which was not that long ago. And shortly thereafter is when I found out about Inkfeathers. And they had several poetry anthologies that were open, and anyone that follows me knows that poetry is like the main thing I write. That's the thing that got me discovered, so on and so forth. So I was looking at the rules for submitting to Midnight Writers, as well as another anthology that I'm also in, but I'll be discussing that one later. Later meaning a future video, not this video. And I was looking at the rules, I was looking at the rights issues and stuff like that, and so as long as you 100% have the rights to your poem, you can submit a reprint. And at the time, I'm still putting poems together for Omni, so I didn't want to send one of my poems for Omni if it ends up being an Omni. I'm still arranging and figuring out which poems will and won't be in the book. So I went through my older stuff and I thought, Organic Ink Volume 1 just went out of print. That means those poems, the rights have reverted back to me. So I submitted Homecoming to this one. And within 2 days of submitting it, I got the notification that Homecoming had been accepted for Midnight Writers, making it the 4th time that Homecoming has been published in a book, and the 5th overall, counting my contest win from PenIt. So that is the 4th anthology, or the 4th publication. It's only the 3rd anthology, first appearance being my own book. But over the years, that's been the one poem that everyone has told me is their favorite. For those that are wondering about me doing a reading for it on my 2nd channel, I'm actually going to be doing Homecoming the same way I'm doing all my new stuff, and I'm going to be sending that on to Spotify. So it will eventually end up on the 2nd channel for those that are wondering, but I will be sending it to streaming services just because the impact it's had just on a small scale. The number of people that have told me that's their favorite poem of mine. Like, since then, I have released The Paradox Complex. I'm getting ready to release Omni. I've done several anthologies where I've written poems. And since then, I feel that I've improved as a writer, but it's also the message too. And because of that, Homecoming's the one that a lot of people tell me is their favorite. And for those that have said that, I do want to say thank you, because it's a poem that does mean a lot to me. It's a poem that I've been wanting to write for years prior to finally writing it. And the fact that it's had the effect that it's had is something that I'm very thankful for and I'm very grateful for. I want to confirm now that between everything that I mentioned, it's appeared in one of my books, it's appeared in 3 anthologies, and it was in a contest where it won. So that's a total of 5. I want to confirm now that the version of Homecoming that is in Meta is not the same version of Homecoming that's in Organic Ink Volume 1 or Midnight Riders. There's a slightly altered version in that one. The slightly altered version will be appearing in the Omni follow-up. My follow-up to Omni will be coming out next year. I'm not going to give too many details just yet, but I will confirm that publication number 5, overall appearance number 6 for Homecoming will be happening. So thank you to everyone that has been very supportive of this poem. I hope that I've mentioned everything that a lot of you have asked regarding this. And I'm currently shooting this video and it is a lengthy one, so by the time you watch this, you're going to notice there's going to be an awkward pause because this is going to be released as 2 videos. But I will have links in the description below for Meta, for Universal Oneness, and for Midnight Riders. I will also have PenIt's website down below as well for any writers and authors that want to just check out their website. I'm going to have my social media links down below for anyone who wants to give me a follow, like a Facebook page, check out some of the other stuff I'm working on. I'll also have a link to my second channel where there will eventually be an audio reading of Homecoming. I'm currently getting ready to record that now. I'm also going to have links down below for my poem Rise Above that's available on streaming services. And that does it for this video, or should I say videos, because I will be treating this as a 2-parter. So thank you everyone, and if there's any other poems or any of my previous books that you would like to see me do a discussion video on like this, post in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.